Hello, everybody. I'm going to try to talk to you a little bit about how I um, winded up in foster care and why I wrote that book, In the Stranger's House, so you can better understand who I am. I came from a broken family, and my mother, who is no longer with us, um, was a, a drinker. She drank a lot of her life. And because she wasn't doing her job as a parent, um, state came in and took her children. Um, Now, my dad was um, there at points and times in my life, but the state still felt the need to remove her kids from her. So I went from my mom to a orphanage for a very short period of time, um, and then from an orphanage, um, um, with my stepmom for a little bit, um, and then from my stepmom, I winded up into foster care. So, what was my life like in foster care? I'm sure everybody wants to know. Well, just think, as a young teenager, I was 12 when I was placed in foster care. And it was just, put into a family with whom had a lot of love, and it was something that I needed. And I was scared, but also I was excited because here I am, a young teenager girl around family who wants to give me love, and that's what I needed because it came in spurts when I was in the care of my mom, from the abuse to the drinking. It was a lot to be beaten with whips and switches and extension cords. But she was alcoholic, and when she would drink, she would turn into a different person. So I had to relive those memories, those feelings that I had endured when I was a young teenager, a young girl, growing up under my mom's care. And there were some points and times we had good moments. She was the best at cooking when she would get in the kitchen. Um, and she was the best hot presser with hair. Um, and I tell you, me and my sisters used to always feel it when we just get our hair hot combed and pressed, sitting in the chair and be squinting down from all that grease in our hair and from that comb going through our hair. But some good times with my mom. And even though she's not here with me today, I still let my mind go back to those good moments. A moment when I remember, she was laying on the sofa and she was watching a movie, and I came and I just curled up right there in front of her, and she put her arm around me, and we watched movies like that. And I guess that's why I'm so hung up on um, that attachment like that, like being able to cuddle with somebody like that, because it reminds me so much of that feeling I had with my mom. So, so yeah, I let my mind go back to thinking about some of that stuff sometimes. You know, when I wrote the book, I had to let myself go back. I had to accept the fact that what I went through was real and it was my life, and I had to, acknowledge that, because if not, I wouldn't have been able to birth in the stranger's house and write that book. But I did. But when I got into foster care, it was a little different, you know. Here we had a family who was accepting of me and wanted to love me and teach me things and see me grow, and it was, the best thing. And I have to say, as I sit here and I think about, from the time that I was in my mom's care, going from my mom's care and going into an orphanage and being taken away from her and then placed in foster care. As I sit here now, I can look back and see the hand of God all over my life. God ordered this to be a part of my life. And if it wasn't for Him saying, this is going to be your story, this is going to be your life, one day you're going to be able to tell the story and you're going to be able to bless children that have gone through what you have gone through, and maybe their stories might be, more harsh than yours, but you will be able to help them. I accepted it. And I was like, okay, it's for a greater purpose than just anything for me, but it's to give God glory, because God was in the midst of my life at a young age. And I am so glad and so, so happy. I was placed in my foster mom, Betty Davis Johnson's home, and it was as if, this woman, she didn't birth me, but it was as if she did birth me. That's the only way I can explain it, She didn't have to go through the labor of birthing me, but when I was placed in her hair and I was placed in her home, we just clicked right away. And I was just so thankful. So, so, so thankful. So now, here I'm being brought up under I'm being brought up under her guidance and her love and her teaching and her prayers. And I tell you, I loved it. I loved it. And I come to be the young lady that you see today. And much of all that, what you see today, is because of her. She taught me how to be a young lady, how to let God work in my life. I seen God work in her life, and God bless her. And so, when I was being brought up with such, um, blessings under a woman's house like this, I just gravitated to it. So I'm going to stop the story of me telling you the rest of the story from there. But if you do want to know more about me, please go out and purchase the book. In the Stranger's House is out there, and it's out there for you to purchase, and it's out there for you to bless another foster child or foster parent, so they will be able to see another foster child who have gone through the system and who have turned out to be okay. And that's it. So I'm going to be, and there is, well, it'll be more time for that. But that's part of my story. So I'm going to leave it at that, and I hope you will listen or buy the book. You can reach me on Facebook or YouTube, Artress Charlotte Martin, Twitter. So get in contact with me and let me know what you think. Okay.